Good day. Before we finish the English lessons that I did in Sinhala and we start the English lessons which teach grammar, I want to deal with a few issues or questions that I have been given before I pass on to the next stage of this series. One is a question that I got asking me whether I also do spoken English, and I was thinking that maybe I should speak about what this concept is. One of the, because it is so very often used to make people come and learn, I thought I should address this issue. As far as I know, there is, and I think as far as everyone knows, there is no special language called spoken English. English is English. It can be used for writing, speaking, listening and reading. So, if you learn the basic structures of this language, you should be able to do all these four things, right? Now, two of those skills are receptive. You passively learn something, it's receptive, and among the receptive aspects of this language is listening and reading. You can quietly learn those two. There is no production on your part. The production comes in reading, in speaking and in writing. And very often your level gets judged most easily from those two, and that is why there is such a demand for spoken English as well. But having said that, there is no special category of English called spoken English, unless of course you take phone calls or the things where you have to speak to learn that. Now, I am assuming the classes who advertise saying spoken English must be giving more space for speaking activities. Then logically those can be called spoken English classes. Otherwise, every class, now one of the disadvantages I had in having a YouTube series like this was all I could do was talk to you and you had to passively listen and hopefully you learned something. But unless you produced it, I doubt whether you could have benefited by progressing as a language speaker or writer, or in fact your basic proficiency. We have tried to address this issue as well, and what our university has done in that regard, I will tell you in the final lecture I have next week. Today I will deal with this concept of spoken English only, because I know it worries many people and they think they don't speak because they think I haven't gone for spoken English classes. So, I want to reiterate and emphasize that it's basic English that you need to learn, and once you learn that properly, you should be able to do the four skills of speaking, listening, reading and writing. One thing that you might have to remember when you speak though is the concept called register. Register means the formality or informality of the language that you use. For example, you will not use the same casual address system if you are talking to your boss rather than your best friend. In Sinhala, if we take the word machang, you would say hello machang probably only to your close friend and not your teacher or your boss. That's also a very cultural thing, right? So, when you are dealing with speaking, I would say you might have to pay a lot of attention to this concept of register. Register doesn't only apply to speech, it also applies to writing. For example, if you take an email, you will say dear sir or dear madam if the context is very formal. If it's not, you might say hi and then start the email. So, register matters every time you produce. It depends on who you are communicating with. So, when you do things like spoken English, you need to remember those things, but again they apply to every context. Even for writing, register comes in. So, the reason I did this small lecture today is to tell you you need to move out. If you think that spoken English is some other category of English, it's not. If you learn basic language structures, you should be able to handle all 4 aspects of language, of reading, listening, speaking and writing. And before I end the Sinhala session and go to the next one where I teach grammar in English only, I will tell you what our university has done to give you space for practice, to give you practice space for the production part of language, and that I will tell you next week. Thank you very much.